Hey guys, Sausage here. Drive Me to Hell is a short experience centered around the horrors of drunk driving. Released on January 4th, 2024, Drive Me to Hell is currently sitting at a 91% positive rating on Steam. Drive Me to Hell took me just under 30 minutes to complete, with no achievements implemented into the game. The story is that you are an unnamed character who wakes up in a diner and decides to drive home. During the drive, supernatural and horror elements start happening, such as seeing ghosts, tiny little bloody handprints show up across your windows, and even being chased by a monster in the later levels. As you play, a zombie appears in your back seat, a ghost woman sits in your passenger seat, and you even see the spirit of a small child. During your playthrough, if you look around the inside of your car, you can see bottles that you can only assume are filled with or have the remnants of alcohol in them. At the end of the game, you stand before burning car wreckage with a radio talking about the death of a family of 3, a husband, wife, and child. While this game could be seen to have some comedic elements, such as the zombie asking you to slow down because it is becoming carsick and then vomiting in your car, it is ultimately a sobering experience trying to show you, the player, the harsh realities of drunk driving. Before continuing with the review, I want to take this time to say drunk driving is a serious topic that can easily take your own life or someone else's. While this video is about a game review, the topic of drunk driving is real. If you or someone you know struggles with alcohol, please reach out for help and seek resources near you. This little act could potentially save your life or others. Anyway, let's get back to the review. The gameplay is pretty minimal. You wake up in a diner and it allows you to walk around in first person until you reach your car. From there, the rest of the gameplay is essentially a driving simulator. At first, your only task is driving down roads just to get a feel for the vehicle, but the game slowly introduces smaller roads, obstacles, tighter turns, and less visibility to test your driving skills. While the gameplay is not necessarily hard, calling it easy is not true either, as there were a few times where I drove off a cliff or got caught by a monster. Still, it only took me 30 minutes to complete, so it is far from Souls-like difficulty. As for jump scares, there are a couple, but to any seasoned horror fan, they may not be too frightening. I myself do not like most horror games, and even then I can only really think of one jump scare in the game that got me, and I am not even really sure it was a jump scare, as it was more along the lines of being right behind me when I turned around rather than a traditional jump scare. The audio is nothing special. It is a pretty silent game aside from the occasional radio broadcasts, sound elements that you might find in a horror setting, and car sounds such as honking, tire screeches, and crashing. While there is nothing wrong with silence, as that can help to build tension, I wish there was more to this. An ongoing radio broadcast on loop or music of some sort would have been nice. As for the graphics, it has your traditional PS1 horror aesthetic. While some people might not be a fan of this, I personally am. There are plenty of PS1 styled games out there, and while they all look similar, there are some that look better than others. The graphics started out strong, but unfortunately, I think making everything dark really weakens the experience. Again, having a flashlight-esque point of view is a typical horror element, but I just do not like it as it turns half my screen dark, making it difficult to see. I like to see the graphics and assets developers put into games. Making half of it unseeable is just not my cup of tea. As for the price, $2 isn't bad. However, for a game that took me just under 30 minutes to complete, no achievements, and little to no replay value, it just seems a little high. I did buy this game on sale for $1, however that $1 price tag would be a much more reasonable starting price rather than a discounted price. The difference between $1 and $2 might seem trivial to some, but for the experience I got out of Drive Me to Hell, $1 seems much more appropriate. With all of that said, I give Drive Me to Hell a rating of 6.6 sausages out of 10. The story tackles a heavy topic that I think is important to talk about, however, I feel like it takes a back seat so that the horror elements can shine. The gameplay isn't bad, but it is pretty simple with not much to it. Not much in the way of dialogue, no RPG elements, just a linear driving experience. The audio leaves little to be desired as it is silent for most of the game. I would have liked a talk show host or music playing over the radio for a little extra immersion and ambiance. The graphics are your standard PS1 aesthetic. Not good, not bad, just standard. The price tag isn't bad either, however just know that you will only be getting 30 minutes out of this game with little to no replay value. My advice, wait until it is at least a minimum of 50% off before purchasing. And that's my review of Drive Me to Hell. If you got this far, consider liking and subscribing, but if not, just know that I appreciate your viewership nonetheless. If you end up purchasing this game, let me know about your experience down in the comments below. I also stream on Twitch occasionally, so consider following me on that platform as well. Anyway, I think I'm going to cut my review here. Mahoney out.